Hello everyone, welcome to another episode of Empty Talk, where I share my contemplative insights coming from unscripted, spontaneous feelings and thoughts during my morning walks. Today I wanted to share with you all my insights on a topic called change. All of us have things that we would like to change about ourselves or people around us, our spouse, our children, our co-workers, friends. And if you are a manager or a leader in a corporation, you want to bring about a change in your employees and so forth. Now let's look at things that we would want to change about ourselves. Many people recognize that they have these personality traits that they don't like and would like to change them, right? Things like anger issues, things like being judgmental, things like being resistant, things like fear or insecurity or lack of self-confidence or whatever else it may be. So what we are trying to change is the behavior on the outside, the personality trait that is visible on the outside. We don't like that and we want to change that. So the subtle missing link in why all the attempts of changing things on the outside, on the behavior level, does not work needs to be understood. So behavior on the outside is a reflection of the underlying wisdom, the underlying understanding that we carry about life and how things work. So any attempt to bring about a change in the behavior is only going to bring about a temporary change unless we address it at the root cause. So how do you do that is by understanding two things that have actually created this behavior, this personality trait. And those two things are as follows. Number one, and we'll take an example, so maybe that's easy to relate to. So let's say someone has this issue or a personality trait of not being able to easily trust people, anything that's being presented as new person, new environment, new policy, any change or anything like that. So the personality trait is not being able to trust. Now, if we look at the root cause of where it all started, the two things you want to take into consideration. Number one, what is the first encounter of that feeling of not being able to trust someone? Where did that first encounter with that feeling happen? So if we go back, as a child, as a young adult, at school or in a workplace or in your social life, wherever it may be, the first encounter of that experience where you felt like you were betrayed or you were taken for a ride or someone deceived you intentionally, made you feel that people are bad. People always have hidden motives. There's always something else on their mind as an agenda. Nobody is selfless. Nobody has pure intentions. They always want to do something that's only good for themselves. So I don't know if I should be trusting them, and so on and so forth. Right? So this was your experience, first encounter with some situation in your life that made you feel that people are not trustworthy. Now, after that first encounter, your mind came back many times and started churning the thoughts. Every time you were presented with something new person, new idea, new thought, new environment, your mind immediately started churning thoughts. Oh, this is another one of those episodes that I had in the past where people came in and said what they had to say, and then it turned out that they were just trying to get me, or there was a hidden agenda or something else which was not in my best interest. So the mind churned those thoughts and it kind of put a stamp of approval saying that this is how it is. So the first encounter of where you were not experiencing the feeling of trust created and invoked a lot of churning in the subsequent encounters and experiences, but 95% of that churning that happened, it happened in the head, not in real life. So the churning actually created a tendency in you of being judgmental or of not being able to easily trust new people, new environment, new information. Now that's the tendency which became your personality trait. And if today you're going to try and change the behavior by staying open and so on and so forth, that behavior is not going to change for long. It will be a temporary change. If you want a permanent transformation, then you go back and recall that first encounter, erase all the past tendencies of trust or lack thereof in people. And that's how you will be able to now give new responses, fresh responses to events and not engage in the churning that the mind brings about because of your past tendencies, past experiences, what's in the memory bank. Now, we just took one example of trust issues. But if you look back at all the other personality traits that you are grappling with and you want to change, at the root of all of that is the first encounter and the churning which created the tendencies which now have become your personality traits. So go back and replace those old tendencies, and in order to do that and erase the old tendencies and create new tendencies, you need to learn how to stay aware and in the moment when a thought arises, right? Which means you need to take charge of your mind and not let it churn those thoughts, because it's in these thoughts that the churning and the tendencies happen. Now, if you want to learn more about that, you can attend my free 2-hour webinar titled Take Charge of Your Mind. If you're interested, send me an email using that email address in the description, and go through that process of learning how to eliminate the past tendencies and how to avoid creating new tendencies. So the question is, do you want a temporary change by changing the behavior, or you want a permanent transformation by changing the underlying wisdom or the understanding which is the root cause of the behavior on the outside? You decide. And if you have any questions, comments, thoughts, I'd welcome that. Do so in the comments. And that's it for today. I will talk to you in another episode on another topic. Until then, love and peace.